I just want to start off by saying what an honor and privilege it is to be invited to speak to all of you today. This is a topic that I'm extremely passionate about, and if you notice, I have cue cards in my hands, only so that I don't talk for hours and hours, and to keep myself on track, because I respect everyone's time. I was having a chat with a sister earlier that, if you went to any of these other industry conferences, you would have to pay hundreds of dollars, sometimes even thousands, to be able to attend, network, and benefit from advice of industry experts. So how unbelievably lucky, how blessed are we that due to the blessings of Jamaat, we get access to these professionals. I was listening on YouTube from home, so learning so much. So Jazakallah to all the volunteers working so hard to put this conference together. All right, so let's get started. So let's start with something simple. I want you to take a look at this image. And what do you see? Does anybody want to raise their hands and let me know what they see on the photo? Yes, go ahead. Logos. Very good. That's an excellent answer. That's the answer I was hoping to hear. Because at one point in time, I would have looked at this and thought, well, these are brands. Well, you see Apple, you see Nike, Apple, McDonald's, Starbucks, Tesla. You recognize all of these brands, these logos. But I want to challenge you. And if the answer that you came up with was that these are brands, I want to challenge you to see these not as brands, but just as a visual identity of a business. What makes Apple different from any other tech company? It's not the apple with a bite. It's a promise of innovation, the feeling of creativity, and the trust that every product is just going to work. McDonald's, it's not just a golden arches. It's a fast, consistent comfort food, no matter where you are in the world. Chanel isn't just the 2 C's, but it's a promise of luxury and elegance. So why does this matter for you? Well, because on LinkedIn, your profile photo, in essence, is your logo. But your brand, well, it's the feeling that people get when they see your posts, when they interact with you, and when they hear your name in a room that you're not in. So today I'm going to share with you how you too can build a strong brand that goes beyond the logo, a brand that communicates trust, credibility, and influence. So we know that a brand isn't just a logo. Your brand is what the customer feels it is. Now I want you to think of it this way. Every time someone interacts with you or your business, they walk away with a feeling, and that feeling is your brand. It's not about appearances only, it's about trust. And while trust is not built with a fancy design, it comes from clearly defined values that are proven again and again. Now, look at this image. We can see here that trust is built through reliability, consistency, integrity, commitment, and sincerity. When you consistently show up with these values, people remember and people keep on coming back. Whether you're running a small shop, you're building a startup, or you are a senior leader, you need to ask, what feeling do people walk away with every time they interact with me, my products, or my services? Remember, your brand is not just a design, it's a reputation that you have to earn. When you earn the trust, everything else, including the sales, the referrals, and all the growth flows from there. All right, my favorite part, imposter syndrome. Let's talk about this elephant in the room before we even get into LinkedIn. The fear of visibility and imposter syndrome, and every time I work with my clients, this is the #1 thing that comes up again and again. All of us know this feeling. It's that voice in your head that says, who am I to put myself out there? What if people don't take me seriously? What if I fail? What if I mess up? Like I did the first couple lines of my presentation. It happens to all of us. But here's the truth. Almost everyone feels this fear. Visibility is uncomfortable because it makes you vulnerable. But without the visibility, your brand doesn't exist. People will have a hard time trusting you if they don't even know who you are. Imposter syndrome, well, it's actually a signal that you are stretching yourself. It shows that you are moving out of your comfort zone. And I'm one of the most introverted people that I know, and I'm doing public speaking is totally stepping out of my comfort zone. So instead of resisting that feeling, I want you to reframe it. Now here's a mindset shift. Being visible is not about showing up perfectly, it's about being consistent and authentic. Your audience needs you to show up consistently. They want you to share your story, your why, and deliver value with integrity. When you are able to overcome that fear of being seen, that is when the opportunities, the clients, and the collaborations will start finding you. All right, let's talk about LinkedIn finally. Now that we've clarified what a brand really is and acknowledged the fears that may be holding us back, let's talk about the most powerful stage we have right now to build that brand. LinkedIn is the largest professional stage with over 1 billion users. It's where entrepreneurs, executives, and leaders at all levels are shaping perceptions and earning trust. Now, here is why that matters for you. If your customers, your partners, or your investors can't find you on LinkedIn, or if your profile doesn't clearly convey who you are, the value you offer, the problem you solve, then you risk being invisible and missing out on opportunities. Think of it this way. Every time you post, every time you comment, every connection that you make, it's not just an action, but it's a signal. It tells people, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and this is the value that I create. And when you show up consistently, LinkedIn will amplify your credibility. It lets you build trust with people you've never met before. Now here is the big question. When people find you, when they find your profile on LinkedIn, are they going to find a brand that inspires trust, or will they find an empty shell of a page? So how do you actually stand out on a platform that has 1.2 billion users with over 100 million active users? Well, if you think about it, only 11% of those who have a LinkedIn profile are actually active on LinkedIn, which presents a huge opportunity. And it all starts with your profile. Now, your profile is not your resume. It's actually a landing page. It's often the first impression someone will have of you. Now, let me walk you through the core elements of a strong LinkedIn profile. Now, let's start with a cover photo. This is valuable real estate, but it's often neglected. Instead of leaving it blank, use it to instantly communicate your brand. It can be a bold tagline, a key message, or even a visual that represents your business or industry. Think of it as your storefront sign. It should make people stop and pay attention. Next is your profile photo. A clear, high-quality professional headshot is what you want to aim for. Now, it's important to use a recent photo. If you upload something from 2 decades ago and you don't even look like that anymore, I would recommend that you upload something more recent. And finally, one of the most important parts of your profile, and that is your headline. Now, here's a little secret. There's no rule book that says you can only put your recent job title on your headline. The headline is actually an opportunity for you to convey what solution do you offer? What problems do you help solve? What is your unique value proposition? All right, now we move on to the About Me section of your LinkedIn profile. And this is actually one of the most overlooked parts of the profile. When I look through people's profiles sometimes and I notice 2 to 3 lines or they're just listing their job duties, it pains me. I almost want to reach them out and say, please let me help you. This section is not a place to post your resume. It's not a place to list your job titles or duties. This is a place to tell your story. If you were asked the question, tell me about yourself, what would you tell them? This is your chance to build trust, talk about why you do the work that you do. What are your values? What is your mission? This lets the audience connect with you on a human level. And as you know, with increasing AI tech out there, that human-to-human connection is more important than ever before. All right, so now that we know about the fundamentals of a standout profile, the next question is, how do you attract people to your profile? How do you nurture and build your audience? How do you build and sustain trust? Well, the answer is simple, and that is through content. Content is that bridge between you and your audience. It's how people get to know who you are. The right kind of content positions you as credible, trustworthy, subject matter expert, and approachable. It doesn't mean you have to post every single day or multiple times a day. It does not mean you have to go viral. What truly matters is consistency and authenticity. When you share insights, the lessons that you learned, or the story of challenges that you overcame, you're not just putting words on a screen, you're showing people your true values, your expertise, and your humanity. Think about this. Consumers don't trust logos, they trust people. And content is how you let people see you, your experiences, and your voice. So what works best in creating content, you might be wondering? Well, posts that teach, posts that inspire and motivate, and posts that start conversations. Share about what you know. Show up consistently and keep delivering value. When people feel that they know you, only then they can trust you. And trust is what turns a connection into a client, a follower into a fan, and visibility into opportunity. Final thoughts, and I have no cue card for this because I wanted to speak from the heart. As a lot of you can relate, almost all of us are either immigrants or children of immigrants. My parents came here with nothing, worked very, very hard to give me opportunities. I didn't have uncles and aunts and cousins or relatives who were in big positions who could give me opportunities. A lot of us are in that similar situation. We had to build our network from the ground up. But if it feels tough, know that you are laying the foundation for your future generations. It is hard, but hang in there. I pray that may Allah Ta'ala bless all of you with all of your ventures. May He grant you tremendous success, and kindly remember me in your du'as as well. Jazakallah, assalamu alaikum.
All right. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillah.